Good morning, everybody, and welcome to our Monday morning GERnétic Zoom session. I hope you are all well, despite a difficult COVID situation here in Australia. But remember, we are all in this together, and don't hesitate to reach out if you need anything. So today, I'm particularly excited about today's session because Danielle will be talking about the history and the origins of our beautiful brand GERnétic. Over to you, Danielle.
Welcome, everybody. As Lydia said, today what we wanted to do is go right back to the beginning and have a look at GERnétic, its history, who created it, where it's from. So this is for everybody, really, people that work with the brand. Hopefully you'll get something out of it, and definitely for clients that have never heard of GERnétic and they're interested to know a little bit about it. So let's start right at the beginning. So GERnétic, the name, where does the name come from? It's a mixture of two words, gerontology, which is the study of the aging process, and genetics, which is the study of genes. It is the science of life and living matter. And that's where those two words are fused together to create GERnétic. So going right back to the origins of GERnétic. GERnétic was created by an amazing man called Dr. Albert Laporte. He was a leading French cellular biologist and gerontologist. I've just told you that gerontology is the study of aging, and he spent about 50 years looking at cells, looking at how they age and what nutritional components they need to be really healthy. He also spent a lot of time researching transdermal penetration, or the absorption of skincare products into the body. He is a visionary behind the GERnétic International range. In 1961, Dr. Laporte was working in a Paris hospital researching treatment for burns, on how to heal and restructure the tissues in cases of third-degree burns. We know when a skin has been burnt, it's about as vulnerable and sensitive as it can be. The immunity's gone, the barrier's gone, it's incredibly sensitive, and it's very difficult to treat. Here he developed his fundamental concept. This is the heart of the GERnétic philosophy, the ability of the skin to rebuild itself when nutritional elements precisely dosed are delivered to the skin. To treat burns, he looked at creating two products, and his original formulas was a product called Synchro and Cytobi. And those of you that work with GERnétic know that Synchro is our hero product. It really is at the very heart of our whole philosophy. Synchro really just puts into the skin, it's like breakfast, lunch, and dinner for the skin. It delivers all the nutritional components that a skin needs to be healthy. It really helps with that regeneration process. Our Cytobi cream is more used for reducing inflammation, it takes down swelling in the skin, and it works on increasing the immunity in the skin. Both these treatment creams were created back in the 1970s, and they do form the basis of the range as they work to heal, repair, and in cases of burnt skin, but they also give amazing results on aging, sensitive, acne, or skin conditions. If we think we can treat a burnt skin with these products, imagine what they can do to a relatively healthy skin. They deliver absolute health and vitality. The GERnétic skincare range was created back in 1978, and the real crux of it is that his whole philosophy is that the skin is a reflection of our inner health and well-being. And it was this that really resonated with me when I started to work with the range. I've always believed that we can't just look at the skin from an external, we must look internally as well. Dr. Laporte even had, back in the 1980s, supplements. And these supplements were used to actually help improve internal functions, therefore improving the skin. These supplements are still distributed around Australia. Unfortunately, we can't have them in Australia because of our TGA. But we do have body products that work to supplement the skin and the body as well. When we're looking at acne, for example, we can't just look at acne on the surface of the skin. We've got to look internally at where that's coming from. Is it a hormonal condition? Is it caused by digestive issues? Is it a nutritional? And we have body products like our bust range that will help to balance the hormones in the skin. And we have body products that will actually help to work on the digestion as well. So really this philosophy that the skin is a reflection of our inner health and well-being is what's always excited me about GERnétic. And I think most therapists feel this way now when they're treating the skin. We can't just look from the surface, we have to look internally. It's a bit like a puzzle. We've got to find where this issue is coming from and work on all levels to improve the skin. And you really will see results when you work with GERnétic like this. The products work exceptionally well and very quickly. Now, the next slides I'm going to show you are some amazing results that we got when we're treating a little boy that received a very bad third-degree burn. Now, this is actually a friend of our trainer down in Victoria. It was his son. Now, this is a burn on a 13-year-old boy that occurred while on holiday at a campsite. He was treated in Darwin Hospital with burns to his right thigh, tummy and hand. Unfortunately, he actually fell into a campfire. We can see here that the burn's extremely bad. He had a day procedure to treat the burn and he was released when it was dressed and bandaged. On his release, he was told to use QV cream, as we often are. Once the dressing was off, it was then to prepare for skin grafts, which was something that obviously they didn't want to go down that route. What happened was Jemima, the French trainer, intervened at this point and we started to actually supply them with some GERnétic products. After the bandages came off, the leg burn was treated with Cytobi. And as I said, Cytobi is really, really good at reducing inflammation, swelling, and starting to help to repair and heal the inflammation. So with Cytobi, it was repairing the skin barrier, reducing that inflammation and improving the skin immunity whilst in this very vulnerable state. So we can see here, this was at the beginning, and then moving on, can we start to see that the inflammation is starting to come down? Moving on to the next slide, if you want to have a look here. So this burn treatment, this is where we started to introduce Synchro and our Cytobi cream. 3 months later, we can see that the swelling has started to reduce and the skin has started to heal. We've introduced Synchro and Cytobi together. Synchro is introduced to encourage the regeneration process. So we're combining Synchro followed with Cytobi cream over the top. When we use these two products together, Dr. Albert Laporte said when Synchro and Cytobi are used together, we're actually getting about 98% of what the skin is made of. So these nutritional requirements we're seeing here, the skin is starting to really repair. Imagine if we can achieve such healing results on a 3rd-degree burn, what GERnétic can do on aging, sensitive or immune compromised skin. And this is why the salons that work with GERnétic just love it, because we just get phenomenal results. And on our next slide, let's see where we get to. This is 10 months later, absolutely incredible. We continue the treatment here with Synchro only. Now Synchro is working on that regeneration process. It's helping to increase the cell turnover and create these really nicely healthy cells. We continue the treatment using Synchro cream applied alone with a focus now on regeneration of healthy new skin. And look what we've ended up with here. Absolutely phenomenal. No skin grafts were needed. 1 year of monthly physio at the Royal Children's Hospital, and they couldn't believe how good the skin was looking and wanted to know what had been treating the skin with. So again, I'm just going to reiterate here, if we can do this on a burnt skin, imagine what we can do on a relatively healthy skin. Let's go back now to the absolute heart of where GERnétic's from. So GERnétic, as I said, is from France. It's from the south of France. And look at this beautiful chateau here. Dr. Albert Laporte realized an old dream and set up a laboratory in the region of Gascogne in a very beautiful building from the 11th century, Chateau d'Ansol. Now this chateau is surrounded by farmland, and much of the farmland that is around this chateau, we actually use to grow some of the plants that we use in our GERnétic products. It is here still in this quiet ecological region that the headquarters of GERnétic International remains. Now this area has very mild temperatures all year round. It's got exceptional air quality and almost non-existent pollution. So it contributes to a really unique environment. So you can imagine that if we're using and sourcing the plants from around this area, they're very nutritionally rich. Currently, the GERnétic skincare product manufacture is done in a laboratory in Toulouse. So we're going to move on now and we're going to start to look at some of the ingredients that GERnétic use in its products. So with GERnétic, we're using phytobiology or plant extracts. When we talk about phytobiology, it's the extraction of an active component from the plant. So for example, in the case of chamomile, the active component of that is bisabolol. That's what's giving the anti-inflammatory soothing action. So Mr. Laporte discovered that when we use these 100% extracted from naturally grown plants, we deliver them deep into the living cells, they enhance the health of the skin. So as we said, with their own farm and farming principles, some of which are based on biodynamic farming. Now, when we talk about biodynamic farming, it's methods that avoid chemicals and soil fertilizers. We don't claim to be organic, but these plants are grown in a very clean environment. By doing this, we obtain maximum nutritional dosage for our products. So our first ingredient here is these plant extracts. Now, GERnétic's very rich in marine algae. We know algae isn't a new ingredient, but it has stood the test of time. With GERnétic, we get our seaweeds from the north of France in an area called Brittany. When they bring the seaweed in, it's freeze-dried at source, and by doing this, it keeps all its nutrition in there. Seaweed has developed specific means of defense to enable them to survive very harsh environments they live in. If you imagine that seaweed has no root system and it can get washed up on the shoreline there, and it's able to maintain its health. So some of the ingredients that we're getting from these marine algae is enzymes, polysaccharides, vitamins, very high in trace elements. Seaweed and algae is rich in trace elements and minerals and essential for skin health. When we talk about trace elements, these are minerals that help with communication and energy transfer in the skin. And it's something often we're low in our diet, as well as these trace elements as well. So the genetic products, when we're using them on the skin, are delivering these trace elements into the system. Here we've got an interesting slide. This is about genetics biotechnologies. One of the main ingredients that we use throughout the genetic treatment range is amino acids. Amino acids are the building blocks of our protein. So we use amino acids, and we also use our peptides. Now, when we talk about a peptide is an amino acid mixed with an amino acid, and it becomes a chain, which is a peptide, and they're the building blocks of protein. So how do we get these? What we use is a form of protein, which is an algae, chlorella and spirulina, and sometimes we use soy. And what we do is we ferment that. So we're using our 2 algae here, and we ferment it in a bacteria. And it's a Lactobacillus casei, which is really high in enzymes. And what happens within this fermentation process is we actually start to break down those proteins into amino acids. And what we end up with is a solution of amino acids and peptides from this fermentation process. So for genetic products, it consists of a culture of Lactobacillus casei bacteria, also known as a probiotic. We use this bacteria to ferment and break down the ingredients into amino acids and peptides, which are the building blocks of protein. So here we're going to filter off these amino acids, and we've also got this beautiful ferment broth here. So when we're looking on the next slide, the ingredients that we use, throughout the genetic range, we have this beautiful fermentation. So it's a byproduct of the fermentation process through which genetic obtains its active ingredients. The ferment is nutritious for the skin and for our skin's microbiome. And then we have those amino acids, those chains of amino acids become those peptides, and those are the building blocks of protein, and they've been obtained through that fermentation process. These amino acids and peptides supply the skin with the building blocks required for basal cells to create proteins and our fibroblast cells to create collagen and elastin. Amino acids are also very hydrating, they're antioxidants, and they can also be used as a delivery system into the skin as well. Some of the other ingredients we have, we're very rich in our vitamins, our A, E, C, and our B. Niacinamide, often clients ask, do we use niacinamide? Yes, we do, and that strengthens the skin barrier and capillary walls. It improves the skin immunity and it reduces skin pigmentation. We also use growth factors throughout the genetic range. Growth factors are found everywhere in our body, and they're large proteins that communicate between cells, and they manage essential tasks like replicating cells, reducing inflammation, and stimulating collagen production. So growth factors you'll find throughout the range. We have our hyaluronic acid. We know hyaluronic binds 1,000 times its own weight in moisture, improves hydration, it retains moisture in the skin, and it has antioxidant capabilities. We use collagen from a marine source in there as well, antioxidant and hydrating. We also have essential fatty acids, and this is very important for us. Those essential fatty acids we're getting from almond and avocado, and they actually help to strengthen the cell membrane, and it's really important we have a nice, pliable, healthy cell membrane. So it's going to help with conditions such as inflammation and acne. Now, when we look at how we combine our products, we don't look at huge percentages. Often we'll have a client come in and they'll have focus only on one ingredient. It's not how we work with genetic. We work with this homeopathic dosage. Homeopathic dosage is based on the theory that very small doses of active substances strengthen the organism, while larger doses cripple it. We don't focus on high percentage, but the correct percentage. We also work with the synergistic activity of the ingredients. When combined, they become up to 10% more potent. And that is true. When we're adding all these ingredients together, they work synergistically together to give a better result on the skin. So we're not talking high percentages, we're talking the correct percentage that the body can utilize in its best possible way. We work with the concept of cellular therapy, which we've been talking about, which is feeding nutrition to the skin. So genetic is the result of this concept of using nutritional skincare to feed and nourish the skin. It is possible to enrich the body transdermally with vitamins, minerals, and trace elements. So we're feeding all this nutrition in through the skin, and we're using sufficient doses. Genetic products give cells the ideal amount of nutrients to optimize skin regeneration. So let's have a look at how genetic fits in the industry, how it's different. So how is genetic different from other skincare ranges? So we've said genetic works directly at the cellular level, basal cells and beyond. We're feeding nutrition through the skin. Genetic works on the homeopathic principles that allow for the skin cells to correct and balance their function when they receive the correct nutrition. A lot of people ask, is genetic a cosmeceutical product? And if so, how? Yes, it certainly is, as it works directly to improve cellular functions. Cosmeceuticals bridge the gap between cosmetics and pharmaceutical grade creams, and we give results in the skin because we're actually getting it to function correctly. Corneotherapy is something that a lot of people talk to us about, and they ask, is genetic a corneotherapy product? A lot of the basis of genetic is, so one of corneotherapy's core principles is focused on the repair and maintenance of the skin barrier and defense system. In that sense, genetic has that as one of its main core concepts. Dr. Laporte has maintained since the brand's inception in the 1960s that the skin barrier must be strengthened and remain intact. We don't believe in over-exfoliating the skin. We don't believe in strong peels on the skin. We believe in maintaining that barrier and keeping that hydration and the skin immunity intact. Dr. Laporte was so advanced and he knew then and now that the skin immunity access, we prioritize keeping the skin barrier intact and therefore protecting the skin's defense system. So we prioritize maintaining the barrier, the skin microbiome, keeping those Langerhans and the mast cells, part of our immunity system, healthy and functioning correctly. So with genetic, do we have to stock the whole range to see the benefits? With this, obviously, when you use the whole range together, you do get a great result, but it's not necessary with genetic to have the whole range. You can pick out some of the key products to use and you will get really great results. Another question that we often hear is, are genetic products tested on animals? No, they're definitely not. And also this question here, does genetic contain parabens? Now, we are really upfront with this and we say, yes, we do. Genetic contains a very small amount of parabens. The belief has always been that these parabens are the safest and most tested preservative currently available in the world. So Dr. Laporte believed that the food grade parabens he selected are completely safe. Now look at the percentage we use here. It's very, very low. It's 0.03. Remembering that genetic is very rich in these nutritional components, it is important that we have a safe preservative that we're using in this range, and we still believe that this food grade preservative is the best option out there for our range. So let's have a little bit more look at Synchro. When we talk about genetics, Synchro is a product that a lot of people know from the range. And Synchro, we say, can be used on every skin type, every skin condition. It can be used on the face, the neck, and around the eyes. So how is that true? How can the same basic cream be used on an oily and a dry skin? So the word Synchro comes from synchronicity. It synchronizes the whole range. Although we have different skin types and different skin conditions, our skin cells all require the same basic nutrition to be healthy. And that's what Synchro does. It delivers all the nutrition that a cell needs to be healthy. Now, Synchro does come in two formulas. You have your original formula here, Synchro, and we also have a product called Synchro 2000, which is a lighter texture. Synchro cream is recommended as a home care treatment cream for absolutely everyone for healthy, hydrated, nutrition-full skin. It can be used alone or ideally applied over the top of our specific treatment creams. When we start to get into more of the range, there are lots of treatment creams that we can apply underneath our Synchro cream to customize for sensitivity, for acne, for pigmentation. We have all of that available, but Synchro we recommend for every single client to give that basic nutrition to the skin. Synchro cream is also used in all genetic facials, and it is recommended as a massage cream. So when you use Synchro, you can add in, and Dr. Laporte was very ahead of his time with this as well. He has 3 essential oils. He believed very much in using essential oils to help calm the nervous system. He also used those essential oils on reflexology points on the feet at the beginning of the treatment. And you can mix these essential oils into your Synchro cream and customize it to make it a really beautiful massage treatment. The glide that you get with Synchro is absolutely fantastic as well. You can massage for a long time and you massage all of that into the skin and it stays on the skin. You don't need to remove it. Synchro cream is for everyone and feeds the basal cells the optimum nutrition they need to be healthy and replicate new cells. Now, we often use this diagram when we're talking about Synchro. It's our food pyramid. As I said at the beginning of the presentation, Synchro is like breakfast, lunch, and dinner for the skin. It supplies all the amino acids, that protein, the fats, the antioxidants that a skin is requiring to be healthy, for a basal cell to replicate. We end up with really healthy, glowing skin with a beautiful barrier when we use Synchro. So Synchro is a balance of all essential nutrients. So continuing with our question and answers, is GERnétic suitable for all skin types? Yes, GERnétic will restore skin health, barrier function, immunity to all skins without downtime or irritation. Can pregnant clients use GERnétic? Yes, they can, definitely. And a lot of clients will use Synchro on their tummy throughout pregnancy as well. It does stop you getting stretch marks. It's phenomenal in that case. And we can also use it on fresh stretch marks as well. Can I use GERnétic after a laser treatment or a dermabrasion, an IPL or an LED? Yes, you definitely can. Remembering back to how we treat burns with Synchro, if you've got any heat that you've used on the skin, then Synchro is going to be really, really good to repair the skin afterwards. Is it true that I can use all the face creams in GERnétic on the eye area? Most of our creams can be used around the eye area, and Synchro definitely can. What is the link between nutrition, diet, and GERnétic products? This is a recap here. So GERnétic is like essential nutrition applied through the skin. What kind of results can I expect, and how long does it take? Through GERnétic nutritional molecules, you can expect to reduce or manage all skin conditions with great success. You will notice significant changes within 1 month with that cell turnover, and substantial and sustained improvements after 3 months. Is it an easy range to use? Yes, it's very easy to use. We have existing treatment protocols that you can follow. A lot of our therapists now, once they know how to use GERnétic, create their own and customize their treatments as they're going through the treatment. It is extremely rare for clients to react to GERnétic. And this is one of the things that I love when I train GERnétic, is that clients do not react to it. It's incredibly rare for us to get a reaction. So you can really use the range confidently in your salon without being nervous about putting products on a client. So why should you choose GERnétic for your business? So GERnétic clients are exceptionally loyal to the brand, and you really find that with Synchro. Once clients get on Synchro, it's very difficult to get them off it. Their skin is literally addicted to it, and they just love the results that they get from it. So you get very, very loyal clients with GERnétic. As I said, it is extremely rare for clients to have a reaction to GERnétic. You can customize treatments from a large range of masks, creams, serums, and cleansers. There's lots of products in the range. We've really only looked at 2 in this presentation, but there is a large range of products that you can use, and the masks are fantastic. We've got some incredible salon treatment masks as well. You achieve exceptional results on the skin very, very quickly and safely. So it's an active range that has a face range. We have bust and body products. We also have products that, as I say, from the body range that will help to balance the gut. We have products that work on the circulatory system to improve circulation, meaning we get better oxygenation and nutritional uptake. So with GERnétic, you can select the whole range or choose products that are perfect fit and will enhance an existing range. GERnétic can work with machinery, or it can be used alone. So it's a perfect match and has a place for any therapist, from natural and holistic to plastic surgeons and everyone in between. Remember, if we can treat and help to improve burns, everything else is easy for us. So if you remember back to those pictures I showed you at the beginning on that little boy, if we can get results like that within 10 months, imagine what we can do on a healthy skin. So linking back to what we started with, skin is a reflection of the inside out. And with GERnétic, when you're using the range, you're really working like that. We're working on internal deficiencies, and we're helping to improve not just the skin, but our overall health and well-being. So thank you for that. I will pass you back to Lydia, and we can have some questions if anyone's got any. Otherwise, you can always find some more information at our website, www.vitalplus.com.au, or our 1300 437 638 number. Thank you so much for joining us today, and Jemima and I are always available if you have any questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Danielle. Thank you, everybody who joined. I think we do have a question. How about rosacea? How does it help this condition? Is a question from Sophia. Danielle, to you.
Okay, lots of ways that we can help. And again, you've got to look at what's causing that rosacea. So Cytobi definitely will help with inflammatory conditions, but we've got to be looking internally at where it's coming from, their stress levels, their gut health. So it's a big question when you're looking at that. And as I said, it's all part of that jigsaw puzzle and treating it. But Cytobi would definitely be the first product that I would look at giving them, and then find sort of a little bit more around what's going on with her internally.
Thanks, Danielle. I don't think there is any more questions. Oh, well, there is. How long does it take to see the effect of GERnétic?
So as I said, we try with all skincare to give it a month, and we always say that on a conservative side, but it's not really that. To be honest, somebody uses Synchro and it's like someone's giving you a massage and a facial overnight. If you put it on at night, the next day your skin is going to see the benefit of that, and anyone that's using GERnétic will agree with that. But we have to be conservative and say a month, because that's how long the cells are taking to renew and get to the surface. So if we're giving that nutrition to those basal cells, it's going to take us really a month to really get optimum results, and 3 months to really see the result.
What are some of the best results you've seen, Danielle, you personally, in your experience with GERnétic?
I think as far as what I've seen on a sensitive skin, I think I had a client once through one of my salons, and she had tried everything in the in the industry. She'd had a lot of machinery she'd used, she'd had resurfacing, she'd had everything done, and her skin was in a very sensitized state. And we put her on Synchro and Cytobi, and it was like a different skin. Within 3 months, her skin was just soft, hydrated, and all the redness had gone. We put her on a range to strengthen her vascular system, and the broken capillaries, everything was improved, and the radiance in the skin had been so dull. But yeah, she was somebody that had gone down a line of just trying everything and had really sensitized her skin. And I think that's where people really find the benefit with GERnétic, that we're going back to sort of putting that food and that nutrition into the skin to make it healthier.
Thanks, Danielle. I think results speak for themselves. I'm looking at your skin, and it is just incredible. It's glowing, it's healthy. And I believe that GERnétic, and I know it is such a great brand. Thank you so much, everybody, once again. And Danielle, incredible presentation. And if you've got any questions, you can always contact us, and the recording will be available as well. Stay safe, everybody. Thanks again for joining. Have a great day. Bye. Bye-bye.